Concordia University is pleased to have as its 2013 undergraduate commencement speaker, Mr. David Winfield. Dave Winfield was born in St. Paul and grew up just a few blocks from the Concordia campus. He is a graduate of St. Paul Central High School and the University of Minnesota. Inducted into the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame in 2001, he was also named by ESPN in 2004 as one of the top 3 all-round athletes in any sport in American history. He was the first professional athlete to establish a charitable foundation and has lived to help others through his charitable work. Please welcome Mr. David Winfield.
Thank you all. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations to all the graduates today. President Thomas Reese, thank you for reaching out to me and inviting me to be a part of this auspicious occasion. It's an honor to address all of you this evening. I know it has to be a high point in the lives of each and every one of you graduates and your families, but understand it's a great honor for me to be here as well. You young people are joining an elite legion of people, not only from this city, state, or country, but the world. You're attending an institution of higher learning, and you're going to matriculate. You're in that 1%, there's less than 1% of the 7 billion people in this world that will have accomplished what you have done today. And that's pursuing an advanced education in your field of interest so that you can improve your standard of living, that for your family, and the opportunities for yourself in the future. You know, it doesn't seem long ago that I finished going to college right across the river, the University of Minnesota. Then I went on to a 22-year career in professional sports that took me to 6 different cities, both leagues, both countries. I played All-Star games, World Series, and when it was all said and done, I fulfilled or lived my boyhood dream. Doesn't happen to many people in this world, but I had mine. I've lived mine. In my life since then, which has been much longer than I played sports, it's included sports, business, communications, family, and community service. Now, many of you here will know me from my athletic career or my community work on behalf of others. Some of you may know me for being just a native son of St. Paul, Minnesota. And over the years, I've hoped that I brought some pride and dignity to my home city and state. As the president said, I was born less than 1 mile from here, from this very stage, this very university. I'll tell you, my brother who is here tonight is Steve. We were raised by our mother, Arlene, rest her soul, but also by extended family, some of them who are here tonight. Cousin Kathy, Uncle Richard, perhaps Margaret Ellen, and others. We all lived right here in the neighborhood. And I had no idea that one day I'd be called back here to address the graduating class of Concordia University. Now, in the few minutes I have here to speak to you today, perhaps I thought that I could add to the lessons that you've learned in higher education with some of the lessons that people taught me in life to how to live your own Hall of Fame life. You got to understand, I mean, I talked to tons of young people across the country, and you know, I grew up not different than most of you here. I had no money, had no car, had no connections, had no uncle who could open all the doors for me, had no role model, had no beaten path that someone had gone before. I said, I'm out there in the world and got to make it. In a nutshell, that Hall of Fame life, you're going to find out. It's about being healthy. It's about being educated. It's about living the principles of your family, your church, and having a sense of community and be wise enough to give back to others when you are gone. It's about having people care about you when you're gone, leaving a legacy. I have a pastor, a friend of mine in Los Angeles. He told me, half in jest and half serious. He said, I bury a lot of young people, and it's unfortunate when he tells people it's going to be a short service because they didn't leave a legacy, there's not much they contributed, and not much they did. He said it half in jest, but he was half serious. And if don't let that be you, that would be pretty bad. Now, I've had an extensive and expensive education in my life. There have been many bumps and bruises along the way, a lot of trips to the disabled list, so to speak. But I've come out on the other side, not too worse for wear. So I'm going to condense some of that best advice that I've gotten from people over the years that I hope you carry with you. First lesson, don't let this negative news that you hear from various media frighten you about job opportunities, that America has reached its peak, we're in decline, we're past our prime, we've lost our edge. Don't believe it. You all are descendants, the lifeblood, the DNA of important people, creative people. We've created great things. We've invented lights, cars, refrigerators, phones, baseball, Facebook, iPad, things of that nature, and we'll continue to do so. We invented democracy. How many people in the world are still struggling to find the best way to govern themselves? So this trend is going to continue, and you all are going to be a part of that greatness. Next, I found out that there really is no 10-step formula to success in life. You know, I've gotten great advice from great people from personal development that I know say that there's only a handful of things that are going to determine about 80% of what you become in life. And I'm going to give you some of them. First of all, if each and every one of you, if you find out something you love to do and you do what you love, you're going to be happy in life. It doesn't happen often, but search and find that. Some other good advice was a friend of mine from 40 years, a businessman, Harvey McKay, author, businessman, local. He wrote a book, it's called Dig Your Well Before You're Thirsty. It's really about connections, networking, and relationships. Use those relationships and friendships that you've met starting at Concordia University and every day you're out there in the world. It will pay dividends throughout life. Now moving forward, you have 4 choices to make for a livelihood. You can get a job and work for someone else. You can own your own business, number 2. You can have a professional career, doctor, lawyer, whatever. Or you can do like Warren Buffett. You can invest in other businesses in life to make your living. But these 4 job categories, you're going to be either a thinker, a builder, an improver, or a producer. Know your niche. You'll find it. Now, when you finish college, everybody worked hard. The young lady said you read a lot. Reading is very important. Readers are leaders. They truly are. But know that it doesn't stop here. It doesn't stop after these 4 years. You know, statistics show that people, once they're out in the real world, those that read 7 books a year compared to anyone that reads 1, they make 2.3 times as much money as the others. I know that's not about what life is all about, but if you continue to read, you will continue to be relevant and you will continue to be needed by others. So continuous learning leads to self-improvement. And so it's not 4 years and you're done. Keep on reading. And by the way, I understand that in this day and age, in 19 clicks or less, you can find anything you want on the internet. So it's a lot easier to find what you want. There's a guy named Jim Rohn, a homespun philosopher, passed away recently, made a couple key comments. He said, formal education, it'll make you a living, but continuous education will make you a fortune and it'll make your life. He said there are 5 different elements of success, and success is about being relevant in the workplace. First is, it's your philosophy in life. That means how you think. Second is attitude, meaning how you feel. Number 3, it's action. That means what you do. 4th is results, and you have to measure them along the way, or you could become disheartened, but keep making progress. And 5th is your lifestyle, the kind of life you want for yourself if you apply the first 4. So some of these same principles apply whether you want to live a mundane, everyday life or you want to live a Hall of Fame life. Now, This is very simple, but you may have heard it before, but it is truly a fact. That one of the absolute truths of life is, remember, what you think, and then speak, and how you act, it becomes a habit becomes your character becomes your life, and your life becomes your destiny. It's all connected. Starts how you think. Now, all of you can choose to be a leader, a follower, or a quitter. The last two are not preferable, but people make those choices too. You got to take charge of your destiny. That's what leaders do. If you don't take the initiative and lead, someone else is going to guide your life. That's not fun. Remember, it's like they say, it's like the Alaskan sled dog. The one in the lead is the only one that gets a change of scenery. So, be in the lead. I'll tell you this, and this is a straight-up philosophy that I developed over time, that I, meeting very famous, successful people in life, but it's really my kind of philosophy for Hall of Fame life. I found that through the lens of baseball, if you strive from aspiration to achievement, there are 5 different levels. And we all start off with God-given ability. Some have more than others. In sports, it's fast twitch muscle fibers and eyesight and all these kind of reaction times. But it's the same for everyone else. You start out with a certain God-given ability. Number 2, to get to the next level. And if you don't follow this, you'll hit a glass ceiling or you'll fall off track. The next one is know the rules, laws, techniques, fundamentals of whatever you're doing. Because if you don't know them and just try to fake it till you make it, it doesn't work. Someone else will win out, they will beat you, they will succeed. Number 3, they call it purposeful practice. Don't go through the motions in what you're doing. People, whether it's sports or anything else in life, they go through the motions, you're really not improving yourself. But if there's a purpose, if there's a vision, and you know where you're going, it's all going to be helpful. So purposeful practice. The next level is your physical fitness. Please take care of yourself. We hear about it more and more every day, about whether it's childhood obesity or people dying younger than their parents because of how they're taking care of themselves or not taking care of themselves. If you have your fitness, if you have your health, you can go a long way. The 5th level is mental toughness. I just kid around in baseball. I used to tell them, I said, look, whether your dog died or your internal revenue audit or your tractor broke back home in Indiana or whatever, you've got to focus on what you're doing. So that's the mental toughness. So once again, I tell you, God-given ability, know the laws, rules, techniques, fundamentals, purposeful practice, physical fitness, mental toughness. And that's from Winfield. That's what I've learned in life, and it's absolutely true. I'll tell you this. In baseball, I learned a number of lessons. If you want to hit 300, which means, for those who don't know baseball, that means I went up to bat 10 times, and 7 times I went back with the bat in my hand. I did nothing. That means you succeeded 3 out of 10. You have to have the right mentality, the right way to handle sport, and baseball in particular. And to do this, always stay positive, whatever you're doing. I used to say, I'm not in a slump. I didn't like the word. It's negative. I said, I'm in a period of adjustment. Or I'm in transition. Or it's a statistically acceptable aberration. I said, what? What is this baseball player talking about? So anyway, remember that a momentary defeat, it's still a prelude to success. Coming around the clubhouse turn here, I want to tell you that prime examples of people, all you young people, you think that, you're in a microwave generation, everything's supposed to happen now. I need it now. Should happen for me. It doesn't work that way. Prime examples, if you look back, the Beatles, it took them about 1,200 shows before they were discovered. J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter fame, she was turned down a dozen times. A dozen times by publishers before she became J.K. of Harry Potter fame and movies and such. Michael Jordan, you know how many, he missed 9,000 shots lost all kinds of games, missed 26 game-winning shots, but how are you going to remember him? So know that a career or your life is not judged on a day, an event, a season, or a year. There's going to be a lot of ups and downs. You know, the famous researcher, Malcolm Gladwell, written books, including bestsellers Tipping Point, Blink, and it distilled down to this. It takes about 10,000 hours of applying yourself to get into that professional level. 10,000 hours. So if you haven't invested that much time, know why you're not there yet. There are few, I like this quote I read recently, that there are few overnight successes, but plenty of up-all-night successes. So remember, just a couple more bits of advice. This is what my mother and my elders used to tell me. They said, remember, as you mature, your reputation is invaluable. It takes 20 years to build a reputation, 20 seconds to mess it up. So you try to find the right people to be around. And I'll close with this. With today's graduation, you've only completed what we call in Major League Baseball spring training. You made the team, the roster. You're about to step out in your first season. But you know, when it comes down to it, as you step out in the real world, you got no stats, you've got no agent, you've got no money, you've got no name, you've got no salary, you've got no hits. They can't even say your name correctly. But that's all right. I'll tell you this. You're still filled with anticipation, excitement, enthusiasm. And even though you're looking for that fastball right down the middle, they're going to give you that changeup or the curveball on the corner of the plate. But remember this. I want you to take a big swing. We call it a hack. Take a hack. Don't take a check swing. Go for it. Go for the fence, just in case you hit it. You know, I've struck out many times in life, but I got up, went back to the plate, and got many hits too. I know you know that Babe Ruth, you might have heard of him. He struck out more times than anyone in baseball history. But incidentally, he had about 714 home runs. You know, so in this audience, many of you, you're going to hit your singles, doubles, triples, and home runs. And some of you are going to hit it out of the park with great frequency. So, Concordia University graduates, as we send you off into the real world, know that I'm going to be somewhere in the stands rooting for you every day to succeed. I want you to keep learning, keep growing, and experience your own Hall of Fame life. Make people proud to speak your family name. The world needs your knowledge, your gifts, your power, and that is my wish for all of you, to have your own Hall of Fame life. Good luck, and may God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. You batted 1,000 with that speech. Appreciate it.